Coming up on the 2014 FIFA World Cup magazine, Uruguay's talisman Diego Forlan. We sample FIFA's official drop of red, white and rosé at a vineyard in Rio Grande do Sul. And we meet a veteran of 6 FIFA World Cups, Brazilian superfan Clovis Fernandes. The dawn of a new day on the Copacabana. Here, as in numerous locations across this great city, football is about to take centre stage. It's a similar story every day, be it here in Botafogo, on the sands of Ipanema, in Flamengo, and in the many favelas that hug the hillsides. Football is a passion, a religion, an obsession. Most Brazilians will play wherever and whenever they can. And in Rio, that means someone somewhere is kicking a ball all day, every day.
Football is a passion shared by every Carioca, because we know how to play. Our football is different. We don't just shoot, we dribble and have fun.
I play football here every week. We've been coming here every Sunday since the pitch was first marked out on the beach. It was 1992, if I'm not mistaken. They made it possible to play football here, and so I've been coming down ever since.
From Botafogo to the Flamengo district, where the artificial pitches are rarely empty. Games here tend to last 15 minutes, and the winning team stays on to face another challenge from those waiting in the wings.
You can come here at any time, from 9 a.m. until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's always someone playing football. People here love football.
Cicero Manuel dos Santos has been playing here at Terreiro do Flamengo for 40 years. The pitches haven't always been this good, but he apparently has.
Goals? I've scored over 800. I always play up front.
At 71, though, should he be playing at all?
I play to keep fit, to make sure I don't get any of those old man diseases. I'm always active. I've never stopped playing. I come down between 1 and 4 in the afternoon. At my age, I shouldn't even be outdoors at that time, let alone playing football. I've played 5 matches today.
Luis Carlos da Silva Jr. is at the other end of the age spectrum.
For me, football is my life. But why? I don't know. It's hard to explain why. It just feels like a gift that we're all born with. We all just possess this real passion for football.
Home for Luis is Rocinha, a sprawling neighborhood on the hillside in Rio's south zone. Once a favela, and still widely referred to as such, Rocinha has a population of over 70,000 and boasts several banks, businesses, its own TV station, and of course, a football pitch.
For me, this pitch is very important, because many young people don't have... They have the talent to play football, but they don't have anywhere to show off their skills. So they come down here and feel honored to have a pitch in their favela where they can play football. Football is a sport where you have rivals, but it's also a sport that makes you happy when you play. It puts you in a good place being able to play with other people.
A few hours later, on the golden sands of Ipanema, football is still the focus of most people's attention, as the sun prepares to set on another glorious day in this beautiful city.
It's a very liberating feeling. It means something different to every Carioca who comes here. People who suffer the whole week, who work hard, and have this little moment at the weekend to enjoy the wonderful sun and this amazing scenery, and also have a chance to play football.
whilst everyone, it seems, is out playing football, Diogo Cairo Palmeira de Melo is hard at work. He's a chef at Rio's Fasano Hotel, just a well-measured pass from Ipanema Beach. He works on sociable hours, so you'd think finding time to have a kickabout with friends might be difficult. Not in Rio.
We are all chefs. Football is very important to us, and we have no other time to play. So whenever we can, we come here. We're here every week, every Monday, and it's very important to us. We can't give up playing football just because of our jobs. We leave work wanting to use up all of that energy. We want to get rid of all that stress that we build up at work. We start at 1 a.m. and finish at 4. Then at 5 in the morning, people start playing on the beach. They are the people who start work at 7 a.m. and play football before going to work. So there will always be people playing a game.
Another night ends with the dawning of another new day. And it all starts again. Only in Brazil. Brazil may not be one of the world's most famous wine-producing countries, but the industry is growing rapidly here. The Vale dos Vinhedos in Rio Grande do Sul is home to the headquarters of many of the country's vineyards, including the Lidio Carraro boutique winery.
I always like to compare Brazilian wine with that of our neighbours, Chile and Argentina, who is something like 30 years ahead of us. Brazil has been producing wine for a far shorter period, but thanks to the quality of our wine, and because of its distinguished style, with products that are fruitier and more elegant, Brazilian wine is often compared to a style that is between the old and new worlds. In other words, it has its own identity, and that's why it's been gaining a lot of international recognition.
Lidio Carraro is the producer of the official wine of the FIFA World Cup, a range known as Faces.
We wanted to think of a name that had the same meaning in Portuguese and in other languages around the world. The name Faces reflects the diversity, the many faces of our Brazil. Not just Brazilian wine, but everything in the country's imagination. We wanted to reflect this Brazilianness, this experience of the country through its wine. One of its strongest points is the ability to express Brazilian happiness and the diversity we have here.
The Faces range includes a white, a rosé and a red wine.
They all follow the same guideline, which is to transmit the utmost Brazilianness. But what is that? We like to say it's the colours, the tastes and the smells of Brazil. In other words, it shows Brazilian oenology through the grapes grown in different territories. And as well as that, it presents a style that reminds us of the characteristics that people in Brazil and around the world relate to Brazilians themselves.
The red wine, inspired by the tactical setup of a football team, is a blend of 11 different grapes, each fulfilling a different role. The idea was born whilst Monica was watching a match with her father.
The passion for football ends up getting transferred to the wine glass in this search to understand the tactical formation, to understand the characteristics of each grape and why they were chosen. So this is an important part of this idea of being relaxed, this question of Brazil in a glass, this search for a style and a reason for these wines to be completely identified with our country.
With 5 games scheduled for Porto Alegre, fans will have ample opportunity to visit Vale dos Vinhedos, the wine capital of Brazil. the island city of Parintins, 350 kilometers east of Manaus. In June, Parintins hosts a 3-day folklore festival, including 2 teams, Garantido, the Reds, and Caprichoso, the Blues, who celebrate a local legend about a resurrected ox.
Boy Caprichoso is emotion. It is love and passion. As the first female president of a boy, and specifically of Caprichoso, I'm extremely proud. This festival means a great deal to our city because it enhances our economic well-being. This festival and the competition between Caprichoso and the other side means everything to the city.
Boy Garantido represents a great nation. Today, Garantido produces one of the biggest folk festivals in the world. And as managers and directors, we feel very proud to be a part of this party, to have the chance to realize our many dreams. So today, Garantido is our passion and our life. Parintins lives with the festival, and so does Boy Garantido.
Since 1966, the annual celebration has become a hotly contested 3-night competition, and Parintins hosts as many as 100,000 tourists during the festival. The extravagant performances feature the revered ox in many shapes and sizes.
Tripa is the person who operates the ox. He's the one who makes the moves that gives life to this crafted work of art that we have here in Parintins. The whole Blue Nation unites behind the ox. Everyone wearing blue and white unreservedly supports the black ox.
The festival's arena, the Bumbodromo, holds 35,000 spectators, and all are treated to an unforgettable spectacle. Each performance is based on local Amazonian folklore and indigenous culture, but as time has gone by, contemporary Brazilian music and rhythms have been introduced.
The toada, the rhythm itself, is contagious. It's about life and culture in the Amazon region. This balanced rhythm is its culture. This rhythm is music to the ears of any person who listens to it. It moves you and encourages people to do the 2-step.
Each night, the Reds and the Blues get 2.5 hours to put on a show designed to impress 4 neutral judges from other parts of Brazil. In addition, their supporters are given marks for the way they cheer on their team, as well as for the way they conduct themselves when their opponents take to the stage. And once the judges have cast their votes, a live television audience follows the counting process. This is a serious business, and the tension is palpable. The Blues triumphed in 2012, but surrendered their crown 12 months later. This year, the 49th instalment will get underway just 2 days after Manaus hosts its 4th and final FIFA World Cup match at the Arena Amazonia.
To those of you coming to watch the World Cup in Manaus, make the most of it and do come and visit Parintins, here in the middle of the Amazon. Come and see our folk festival. Come and see the boy Bumba, Caprichoso. See how contagious our party is, our rhythm and our music.
At the 2010 FIFA World Cup, Diego Forlan won the Golden Ball, the award given to the tournament's best player. The Uruguayan, whose 5 goals helped La Celeste reach the semi-finals, joined an illustrious band of former winners.
We were so close to being in the final. As the matches went by, we grew in confidence, knowing that we could have a good World Cup. What does it mean to have a good World Cup? I would say it's to play your matches as equals and to feel that you're able to win. Over the course of 90 minutes, many things can happen to change a game, and you must play well match after match. We always believed we'd have a good World Cup.
Along with Edinson Cavani and Luis Suarez, Forlán could form one of the most dangerous strike forces in Brazil. That said, Uruguay only qualified for the tournament after a playoff against Jordan.
We knew it would be very complicated, because qualifying here involves many things. You have very strong teams, very long distances to travel, places with high altitudes and places with different climates. Things vary a lot, more so than in Europe, where the continent is a lot smaller. But the truth is that I'm happy. We've negotiated the qualifying rounds, and now we must focus on the World Cup and getting there in the best possible condition to have a good tournament.
As they were in South Africa, Uruguay will be under the guidance of head coach Oscar Washington Tabarez, who also led them to victory in the 2011 Copa America.
He's a coach who has a lot of experience. He was with Uruguay in 1990 and was able to introduce many new developments during the time he spent with the national team back then. More recently, he's been able to repeat all that with the current team, and he's led the group the way he likes to. He's a very intelligent person and knows how to build a good group. It's also obvious that he really knows his football.
After a long and illustrious career in Europe, Forlán returned to South America in 2012, spending 18 months with Brazilian club Internacional. And during the FIFA Confederations Cup in 2013, he became the first Uruguayan to make 100 international appearances.
Of course, for Uruguay many years have passed, and you can see the number of players we've had and the quality that Uruguay has produced, and still produces today. Yes, I've managed to play 100 games, and I think getting to a century is a privilege. I'm extremely proud.
Forlán will be 35 when the FIFA World Cup kicks off and has now started a new adventure in Japan. But the Uruguayan's recent experience in Brazil has left him in a positive frame of mind about the tournament.
You do wonder how it will all be, how Brazil will prepare itself and its people for the World Cup. But this is a country that already welcomes many visitors and that has a lot of tourism, so I think they're prepared. They have people who are highly specialized in their chosen field, so I think it'll be a good World Cup.
The last time the FIFA World Cup was played in Brazil, Uruguay famously defeated the hosts in the final game. If they're to improve on their fourth-place finish in South Africa and maybe even replicate their victory of 1950, you can be sure they'll be counting on the experience of Diego Forlan. Training facilities are all important for any team heading to the FIFA World Cup in June. Some have selected established facilities belonging to Brazilian clubs, whilst others will train at their team base camp hotel. Viamão's impressive Vila Ventura hotel, not far from Porto Alegre, will be home to one of the 32 competing nations.
Hi, I'm Samuel da Silveira. I'm the director of the Hotel Vila Ventura here in Viamão, and we will be hosting Ecuador's national team. We were visited by 14 delegations, and Ecuador's national team decided to come back to Vila Ventura. There were 5 key reasons why they chose us. The proximity to the airport. It's only 20 or 30 minutes from the hotel. The climate. They'll be with us during a period when the temperature here is similar to what they're used to at home, between 12 and 14 degrees. The hotel's exclusivity. We will only have the national team staying with us. The availability of 2 football pitches for training, and the warm welcome they will receive in our state from the moment they arrive, especially here in our hotel and in the city of Viamão. The delegation will number 60 people, and this is one of the rooms that will be used by Ecuador's management team. This building was constructed specifically for the national team. These are the rooms in which the players will be staying. They'll also be eating their meals here, in the same place. In the past, we've hosted clubs preparing for the Copa Libertadores, or the National Championship, and we are now building a new football pitch up to the standards required by FIFA. It will be supplemented by other facilities, such as changing rooms, a gym, and a stand so we can accommodate all the journalists who will be covering Ecuador. This space, around 1,500 square meters, is being turned into a media centre for up to 700 journalists from Ecuador and other parts of the world. They will have high-speed internet access and all the other forms of communication they need. This is the Africa Room. It's surrounded by nature and can be used by the technical team and players for tactical sessions, and also for any physical training they might want to do on days when the weather isn't so good.
Ecuador's players will want for nothing at the Villaventura Hotel, enabling them to concentrate fully on the task at hand.
I've travelled the whole world to more than 60 countries and have watched 146 games with the Brazilian national team. And now the moment has arrived. This is the moment. It's Brazil's turn, and we are certainly ready to welcome all of you.
For many supporters, following their team at a FIFA World Cup is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For Brazilian superfan Clovis Fernandes, though, it's a way of life.
I remember the 1970 World Cup in Mexico. I was able to watch it all on television, and my passion for the game started to grow. Experiencing that emotion, I promised myself that one day I would be at a World Cup, that one day I'd follow Brazil in the finals. That dream came true in Italy in 1990. That was my first World Cup. Everything I'd bottled up, that crazy passion for the Brazilian national team, was released with incredible strength. So that was my first World Cup experience, and I carry that passion with me to this day.
Since first sampling that special atmosphere at Italia 90, Clovis has been to every subsequent FIFA World Cup and multiple editions of the Copa America and the FIFA Confederations Cup.
I am their 12th player. I am. You can be certain of that. I'm the guy that cheers. I'm the guy that shouts. I'm the guy that makes promises. And as the 12th player, I only have one thing to say. Cafu, I will beat your record. If Cafu has played 150 games for Brazil, I've played 146. And we have another 7 to play, including the final in Maracanã. You can be sure that I'll end the tournament as the player with the most appearances for Brazil.
There have been many highlights for Brazil during the 24 years that Clovis has followed the Seleção, but two in particular stand out.
It's always good to win, to take part and to win a World Cup. I've already experienced that twice in the United States and in Korea and Japan. In Korea and Japan, it was the first time that the World Cup was hosted by two countries. We were all getting ready for Brazil to go to Japan, and then we went to Korea. We didn't know anything about Korea. We had to study everything really quickly to prepare ourselves for that trip.
Dressed like a traditional gaucho from his home state of Rio Grande do Sul, Clovis always carries a replica of the FIFA World Cup trophy and has become an instantly recognizable figure wherever he goes. And this year, he and his sons will travel the country by car to support their national team.
If you carry a replica of the trophy, there are always going to be moments when people want to take a picture. They want a memento. On my travels, I've become friends with many people. During the Confederations Cup last year, I almost always stayed in a friend's house. In fact, in Belo Horizonte, I even had the pleasure of staying in Fred's house with his father. He's a great guy. Fred, too. He's a wonderful player and a fantastic human being who gave us a great welcome, both to me and my friends who were traveling on that journey.
And 12 months on, Clovis has a message for his fellow fans heading to Brazil.
Supporters from all over the world must come to Brazil. Come to experience this fantastic emotion that will be our World Cup. We are hospitable people who will welcome you all, and it will be a magical moment in the life of every fan. Come to Brazil. Come to help us break this record of 3.5 million spectators currently held by the United States. Let's break it. I call on all of you watching, come here. Brazil will be waiting for you with open arms.
Next time on the 2014 FIFA World Cup magazine, we sampled the lifestyle of the Gauchos. We're in Salvador to experience the sights and sounds of Ilha Aye. And we meet the man who should have lifted the FIFA World Cup, former Brazil midfielder Jay Roberto. Until then, goodbye.